Aloha, I am the draft specialist, and we're here again with another episode of Brews and Buds. Returning to the program, we have Eric and Keith back for more pain and pleasure. We're gonna have some fun today. I just got back from a tour at Bell's. Eric was down in Georgia. He's toured a couple places, checked out some breweries. So we got some beer to share with all that. I'm really excited to share what we brought back, and I'm excited to taste the really, really potent stuff that Eric brought back.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. Just want to remind everybody that the giveaway ends in a couple days for the Big Lake giveaway. The next one's 2 Bandits, and then we have a little bit here from Bell's for the one to follow. The one that I took away is this sticker here. Is apparently Larry's Latest is not going to come back in the format that it was, and so this is going to be a very rare sticker, one to throw around. I know my daughter already wants it. But we're going to go over a little bit of glassware as we start pouring stuff. We're always going to pour in a little bit smaller because we're tasting a lot of beer. Certain beer deserves certain glass because it does certain things, and that's what you really want to amplify. But other than that, ready to get to it? All right. So, I thought we would start with one of our lower ABV players. It's the Double Cream Stout, their special stout by Bell's. I was really excited to check it out. Your lighter anyway. Yep. Of course, I forgot my bottle over here. But a little secret. Oh, look at that!
And it plays with the theme.
It sure does. There we go. Here in a moment. But they boast having 10 different malts in this stout. 6.1% ABV, so they wanted to keep it as close to a pub style as they could. But the real secret ingredient, there's no lactose. It's all derived from the malt. So this is my very first sip of this. I've never had it before. I was really, really excited to try. And then they also gave us a little story on, if you ever see the blue caps on a Bell's product, that one cap, so the profits of that one beer go towards prostate cancer research. So I was really, really impressed to hear that. I mean, they do a lot with the community. Their philanthropy is incredible. I mean, they're giving back so much. So I'm excited to try this. I know of only a handful of malts that go into it. Most stouts you want to pour into a large glass like this with a good bevel so that you can build a really good foamy head. The head is very important on a stout. It's really a good way to gauge its freshness and its quality. This is nicknamed in our house my wife's coffee glass. So iced coffee glass. Let me rephrase that. But oh wow, this is like walking into a beer lover's coffee house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a great smell to it.
It's like 3 different types of chocolate. Dark chocolate, German chocolate.
3? I get 75.
You would. Oh, that is delicious.
Mm-hmm. That
really
tastes as good as it smells.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Good coffee bitterness to it. That's, the malt and the hop speaking through a little bit there, which is impressive. Did my best to keep this as cold as possible because I like a really cold stout. I like letting them warm up a little bit. I'm sure this one would just open up really, really well. Give it a couple minutes in your hand and just get all that, you probably can get a smokiness from it. 10 different malts. So I know they use a brewer's base malt, 2-row, crystal malt. They use a couple different roasts. I mean, no lactose. That's impressive because you do get a creaminess. Obviously, it's not going to be. It's not super creamy, but it's definitely there. And it's all the malt doing the work. Well, I should say that, and their yeast. It's impressive.
That is very good. I'm not I'm not a big stout drinker.
No, me neither. This one doesn't stick on your tongue too well.
No, and it's got a nice clean finish to it. It's not hanging around. It smells great. It finishes great. Not being a stout drinker, I think I'd go pick up a 6-pack of this. Keep it in the house for a nice fall day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great football drinking beer right there.
That's a great reference. It'll be available soon. I know they were just packaging it while we were there, so we got it at the Eccentric Cafe, actually in their general store. I was very pleasantly surprised. I'm glad because I built this up in my head like, oh gosh, I hope it's as amazing as we were walking through, smelling it.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a good one.
That one's very tasty. Well done, Bells. Well done again.
You guys talking about stouts sounds like me talking about IPAs.
Yeah.
It leaves your tongue real fast. Happy about that.
But I like the flavors. Just a lot of the coffee ones, they seem that the coffee sticks around much longer than the other flavors of the beer. And I'm not a huge coffee person in itself, so to just sit there tasting coffee for 10 minutes is not very fun for me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about hops. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Understandable.
To each their own, right? Yeah.
Well, this one's a really good
It's
one.
like
It's a
the
good
other side of the
balance.
coin, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is going to also be from Bell's. It's this one we could only get in growler form. They've got some really sweet growlers.
Nice.
This
Oh,
Is
shucks.
that a normal size ground?
it is
Look at the
64
handle.
ounces.
Oh, I
Or
didn't
no,
know
sorry,
that.
it's bigger. It's 67 something.
Oh,
It says
okay.
somewhere.
It looks a lot bigger
It
than
looks a lot
67,
bigger. It
right?
really does. Yeah.
But this is their Honey Hearted. It's a butt kicker, 14.4%. So we're gonna sip a little bit, but this one I had while I was there.
Mhm.
I was really happy with it.
Yeah. I watched you. What you got there on Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, I watched that. I was looking forward to your reaction to this, and now I'm excited to actually get to try it.
I'll let you all go first for it because it's definitely, man, that is burly.
That's a huge growler. I feel like if you try to take that into any other brewery and have them fill it, they're not going to do it for you.
Well,
That's
if
on
you
the
ever-
back. Contents.
Yeah,
67.6.
0.6, there we go.
Wow.
I just wanted to give you that little extra.
Imagine sitting that in the bar. Fill this, please.
Right?
Oh, most drafts can't handle it.
I
They're so tall.
I feel like
Yeah,
you
that's
have to be
true.
like a big burly. Like that's Andre the Giant's.
Yeah, his mug club.
Yeah, that's his mug. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you get the chance to check out their general store where they actually fill the growlers, they have the contraption actually fills it by cascading, so that it doesn't build head, so
Okay.
that you're not burning CO2, so it actually lasts longer. They do a tight seal. It's not one of those we're gonna tape
It's
it on.
pretty impressive to watch, actually.
Like it's
the fill.
Huh.
they don't mess around.
Right.
And so
That's awesome.
really,
You can definitely hear it when you opened it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than most.
Still
of
see
it.
CO2.
That big Mamma Jamma is blocking your face, babe.
oh
Well, he finally looks good.
looks like my favorite beer. So most IPAs you're gonna pour into a pint glass. This is, I mean, we were just talking about the vocabulary and how fuzzy the lines are about IPAs. This is technically a double imperial, but I mean, you can call it anything you want nowadays. This is the two-hearted version of Hop Slam. So
Okay.
it's a honey imperial, but strictly centennial. So it just smells so rich.
Yeah.
You can smell the alcohol content.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it hits you right on the nose.
Just almost smells like a strong mead. Like it's very honey and alcoholic all in the same.
Baron Jaeger. It's got a really like sweet honey, clover honey.
The taste is actually a lot smoother than it smells. Smelling that you think you're gonna
You're gonna feel
bite
it,
back a little
right?
bit, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's very smooth.
That's actually dangerous.
Extremely.
The way that finishes, because as you're saying, when you first smell that, and I'm not kidding, that is one of the strongest smelling IPAs I think I've ever smelled.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking when I take a sip of this, I'm gonna feel this. and you don't at all.
No.
It reminds me, not in flavor, but in terms of finish and smell, a little bit of Dogfish 120.
Yeah.
Which is another dangerous high level
Yeah.
drink that I've got a story about that for another day.
Hey, I heard they just re-released, so they should be shipping that out in the next couple weeks. 120. So hopefully some will come to our area, but
Here's a good few kegs.
this one's, yeah, I hope we get some bottles too.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But I always, that is one beer that you and I have talked a lot about, that it is completely different profile from keg to bottle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Completely. And that's, I mean, you got to think that's a bottle condition. That beer's been beat up a lot. Kegs are kept, they're supposed to be kept cold the whole time. But yeah, this one I had to bring it back because it's kind of like all of our favorites. A heavy hitter, hashtag butt kicker. It's robust and complex. It's smooth and clean. I mean, you can tell there's Centennial in there because it's very refreshing hops. It's one we all know.
Yeah.
That is the go-to IPA, right? Would you say? I mean, it just overtook Pliny the Elder for #1 IPA in the country.
Really?
So yeah, they just got high accolades. So good for them. Way to go, Two Hearted team, Bells. I mean, if you see their production, they've got a dedicated line. What'd they say? It was 58% of their production is Bells Two Hearted.
I believe it.
And they said that if the Two Hearted line left and started their own brewery, it would be the 14th largest brewery in the country.
Wow.
Wow.
When you see what they're doing, and they're bringing 12 more fermenters between 200 and 520 gallon, or barrels. Barrels. I apologize. Barrels.
Nice.
Totally different game.
Yeah, right. So I find this really interesting, and I don't know if I'm stepping out of bounds when I say this. I felt like over the past several years, Hop Slam's quality has kind of gone down. It hasn't been as good year over year the past several years. If they'd have slipped this into a Hop Slam can, or whatever it might have been,
Yeah.
I would have been thrilled with this year. Whereas I don't know if I feel compelled to run out and get Hop Slam next year, after what I had this year.
Yeah.
So.
I will because of the novelty.
But
Yeah.
and yes, I will. You know, I just might not feel compelled to do it that first day.
Right.
Yeah.
Or get another.
But this is dynamite. This is really really good. I'd love to see this on the shelves.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I'd buy a case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Buy a case of this
The
stuff.
finish, like it's been a minute since I've even took a sip, but it's like honey stick.
Yeah.
Like it
It's
just
great.
sticks to your palate. Like I'm hoping that the next one beats up our palate enough to overtake this because this one's very smooth. I mean, it's like this is like the medicine we all wish we took. You know.
Absolutely.
You know how terrible cough medicine was? We'll have a sip of this, and my throat feels a lot better now.
And or I don't feel anything anymore.
Precise.
So,
Oh, that's how it works.
Yeah. Hey, any way you get there.
Do you want to sip, babe?
Bell's distribution is huge though. When I was down in Atlanta, the only Michigan beer I could find was actually Bell's.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, it wasn't too hard like you think it would be. They had it. The only keg I found of Michigan beer was the Oracle.
Oracle. Wow.
The Oracle.
Really?
Yeah,
That
surprised me too.
Wow.
Really surprised me.
Yeah, they've got
I love that beer.
It's a very
40
good
states
one.
or something. So
Yeah. But at that, I was surprised to see the Oracle instead of Two Hearted. I didn't see Two Hearted the whole time I was down there,
Yeah,
actually.
you kind of see Two Hearted everywhere now.
Oh, yeah, it's a go-to.
well, September 4th.
Oberon,
yeah, during the season.
Summer season.
We just saw their last production of it. So
Okay.
this is the end of it. Get it while
so
you can.
grab some.
Yeah. But Bell's is breaking into Colorado officially September 4th. So it'll be the 40th state they hit.
Nice.
So they're
That's impressive.
So they're
That's a
pushing
huge
west
market.
like Founders pushed west last year. I think they got that distribution out there.
well, they went international like 4 years ago, and
Okay.
that's when like they got a lot of help from the big player over in Spain. So,
Right.
And now they're almost like neck and neck. But of course, the big argument is this is where I asked the distributor Monday. We ran into him at Hops Farm, which is awesome. In Michigan, Bell's just wallops Founders.
Oh, absolutely.
Outside of Michigan, Founders has the appeal. It's the barrel age series they do, and that's the one that keeps them afloat. Really, really, that and all day.
Yeah.
All Day is the #1 selling craft can,
Well, yeah.
like in the country.
Yep.
Makes sense. It's basically the Bud Light of craft beer. I'm gonna try to drink something all day. I mean, is
Right.
what I grab.
And I love how they stole that name.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's all day IPA, and,
Yeah.
and how many times do you reference a session now as an all day drinker? You've got to think of a different way
Exactly.
to call it. You know, I think like the last time I was here, we were calling it a lawn beer or you know a beach beer, whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
try to work your way around that.
Because they nailed it. But it's also one of those IPA sessions that it's a burly session,
Oh
yes,
yeah.
yes, it is.
you know, and so
And as an IPA drinker, I appreciate that.
Exactly.
That you've given me something that I can taste yet enjoy throughout the day.
exactly keep drinking.
Yes.
It's a nice middle ground though, because you can bring a case up to a party also, and most Bud Light drinkers or people that aren't too into craft beer will drink it also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, with Saturday being the first college football day, and having people over, and I was like, "What are we going to drink?" He said, "Well, I made a build your own 6-pack for the occasion." I was like, "Well, we better find some sippers.
Yeah.
You know, it's something we can drink all day and then enjoy those." And that just immediately was like, okay, I know what I'm going to get for Saturday.
Right.
Again, you think all day, you gravitate right to that.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's
Available everywhere also.
absolutely. All right, so the next one that I got is because, well, Keith, it's your fault. You're the reason I drink Boulevard now.
You're welcome.
It's
It's the best thing I ever did for you.
Yes, it is. It's really, thank you. Out of Kansas City, these guys are awesome. I mean, you can tell more about them. You've actually been there.
Yeah, I was there last year. My dad and I go on a baseball trip every year. We wound up in Kansas City last year, and me being the craft beer drinker, I had to go to the spot for craft beer in Kansas City. Boulevard has done such a great job with their beer in that market that even when you go to the ballpark, when you go to Kauffman Stadium, they don't serve you a Bud Light. They sell Boulevard's most popular beers are unfiltered wheat, and that's what you find on draft at the ballpark even. And everywhere in Kansas City you go, they have Boulevard wheat on draft. It's a lot of fun, but the brew house was awesome. We got there too late to do a tour. It was kind of a last second idea, but sat there in the tap room and enjoyed so many different beers. Their Saison Tank 7 has quickly become my favorite beer. I love their unfiltered wheat.
Those are two
I have
thresholds.
not had this one here yet, but again, I haven't had a bad beer from Boulevard yet.
No.
I'm excited that they have distribution to this area now. I think they have for a little bit more than a year. I think they started coming here shortly after I got back from that trip. So I'm really excited to try this. I know some of their other good ones. I think I gave you last year a rye on rye. They even do
One
a
of my
triple on
favorites.
that series. They do a rye on rye on rye. I would love to see that make
Yeah.
it here.
Is that your 3 favorite words?
It's so
Yeah, right? Just turned Eric on.
Yeah, a little bit. Thank goodness for this table.
So you can talk a little bit about this beer.
Sure. Well, I mean, go
It's,
back
it's
on
your show.
Rye on Rye.
I'll hand it
It's-
back.
was very generous of you bringing that. That was awesome. Turned me on to a rye whiskey style, which I mean, obviously we all think of barrel aged. It's usually bourbon. This is a bourbon barrel aged quad. This is Boulevard's. It's a Belgian dark strong ale. I think I said that right. Barrel aged quad Belgian dark strong ale. I think.
It's a mouthful.
It's a lot of adjectives going
It
on.
was, and it describes the beer. So, I'm 11.2%.
I was just about to say, what's the hit on it? Because you can smell it.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's that barrel age. You
Sorry,
can
that was not a good pour.
smell that coming through. Ah, it smells delicious.
Oh my goodness, that is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you definitely get the bourbon, but it's not the usual like bourbon sweet heat.
Yeah.
This is more like an oaky, fresh.
You're picking
This
up.
is almost like a cut, like someone just chopped down an oak tree and we're about to drink some beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a really strong earthy tone to it. It's really nice.
Oh wow. Holy smokes. it's almost jammy, like a grape and stone fruit, because there's so much, and I want to say more raisin than grape. It's like a dried fruit flavor, and I think that's also coming through with the yeast on the Belgian style. Like that.
Yeah. No, well, I like that because I think sometimes when you get into the barrel age series, you lose so much of what the beer was intended to be, and you really recognize that this is a Belgian. You don't lose that at all, and that's exciting because how many times have we cracked a barrel aged beer, and all you get is the whiskey or the bourbon. You get the heat and it hurts, and you don't enjoy the beer because it's not there, and that is not what's happening here at all.
Right.
This is.
But it still has that burn at like right at the back of your palate. It's like, oh yeah, there's the barrel.
Yeah, it's balanced.
It's very well balanced.
It really almost transitions through the flavors as you drink it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good one.
Oh,
As
man.
crazy as it is, it smells like, okay, so like smell is one of the most powerful triggers for memory. I get toasted like cinnamon raisin English muffins or like cinnamon raisin toast.
I can see that.
It's like, I mean, not cinnamon obviously, but I
Right.
get like raisin, like toasted raisin bagels, or just something yeasty and
Yeah.
sweet. And
I like this so much I could almost take the rest of the show off, just go finish that that bottle. I'm not even.
well, they
I'm
weren't
not
selling
even
it
kidding.
singles, so
I know it. I know it. I've tried to find that. That's not an easy find either.
I was able to snag one of them at
Down the road.
down the road.
Gotcha.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Sometimes he's a good dude down there.
And I want to run into him one of these days. I hear he's about to put a crowler in, which how huge would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start.
Wish I'd known that. I saw him Sunday. I was sitting up at the coffee house next door.
Ooh.
He stopped over for a minute.
Actually trying to do business with them too.
Okay.
Imagine putting a nitro cold brew in there. Like the only one in the area.
Yeah.
If you need help with an introduction, I can help with that.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah. Always.
Again,
It's exactly
it's who you know.
who you know.
My dad used to say life's a contact sport.
There you go.
It's who you know.
That's right.
That's a good way to put it.
This is
He's a clever dude.
Yeah.
If you're watching. Hi, Dad.
Yeah.
right. Well, it's funny you say that because I was actually I was heading home this weekend to the Minnesota areas, and I wanted to do like a drinking with dad series.
Sure.
How great would that be? We all have a drink with our dads. Invite them over. All right, Dad, we're gonna drink beer on camera.
On camera.
What's this fandangled live you talking about?
Right. Wow. It's still like lingering.
Yeah.
It's still it's
But-
drying out.
But
you
that's
know?
one that
It's
can
so
linger
good.
as long as it wants to.
Yeah.
That was so good.
It's not an
Such a
offensive
tasty-
flavor at all.
Right.
Such a tasty beer.
I
All
could,
right. Well, it's your turn, Eric. Your tasty vittles.
I'll start off with something light.
Yeah, you did bring some that we requested
something
at
light.
the end.
We just went from 14 to 11. Why stop now?
Right.
Well, we started with 6, so
Yeah. So
we had
6
to
to
warm up.
14. I'm glad we didn't continue to double.
He's always buying the black and gold cans.
I guess I gravitate toward them. This one's from Beard Iris, though. It was a highly recommended one.
Sorry.
From the, I think it's from South Carolina or Tennessee. I honestly did.
Bearded
Oh yeah,
Iris.
Tennessee.
They're not, can't find them around here, but those that like good beer always will have a can of that.
Yeah, this is their homestyle IPA. I guess it's their mainstream one. Would you like to try this one? It's pretty
It's
juicy.
got a
I
fantastic
will. I
smell
gotta
to
finish
it.
up this first.
Ooh. It's like a citrusy pale ale almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too juicy.
Citra.
Some of the New Englands almost are
Mosaic.
extremely juicy. This
Do
one
they
you can smell
consider?
hops.
Do they consider it a New England?
I believe so.
Hazy, yeah.
I didn't get
Yeah,
the
I mean,
chance
it's-
to visit this
Oh,
brewery or
nice.
anything.
Okay.
I picked it up as a
Sure.
going through.
I love that. I mean, it's got a great color. It's cloudy, but not so much that you can't really identify what's going on there.
No particulates like
Yeah.
you see in some.
Yeah.
This one's, but it's also like a, I mean, on that finish too. Its finish is more like a pale ale than an IPA.
Yeah.
A little bit easier.
Yeah.
Probably not as high in ABV.
but very citrusy.
Yeah,
I mean,
very.
that really comes through. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Home style IPA is what they're calling it.
I could be wrong. This could be almost more of a juicy IPA because it's not hazy at all. It's very
Right.
juicy, but you can
That's what
still
they're
taste the
calling
hops. But
6.5%.
like we were saying before, the lines are so
I
blurred,
don't
it's
know,
hard
it's
to
a
tell.
little hazy.
A little hazy, but
Yeah, I can see a little bit more
Not
particulate
as-
there.
not as
But
hazy as a lot of them.
no, I mean, a lot of them, especially. I mean, we're a little spoiled here in Michigan in terms of
Yes.
of the New England styles here. They come out looking more like a grapefruit juice. You know, they're really that cloudy,
Almost pulpy.
orangey,
Yeah.
pulpy.
Opaque.
You know, yeah, good word for it. You know, where this one, this is closer to clear, almost like it's almost like a stained glass color,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I hope
Um,
that's the thumbnail. You'll avoid like this.
It could be. That'd work. But yeah, I like the finish. It's interesting. It's not really like anything I've had, which
Right.
is
Very
odd when you
citrus
talk
forward.
about an IPA having had so many. It's unique, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very citrus forward. It's also very like clean and refreshing.
But also hoppy. I can taste
Yeah.
the hops
Yeah.
in it. I mean, it's
so
all around.
similar, I think, if I could. To try and bring it home for people that live around here, Mosaic Promise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
close
Yeah.
to that.
That's
I
what I
think
was
a little
getting.
juicier than that. but
Definitely.
I think it's definitely the same ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I got a lot of mosaic out of this. Like I said, pale ale, but a really juicy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
I'm good with that.
It's a nice one.
it is. It's,
You can definitely drink that and mow the lawn.
they definitely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Actually, I haven't found many
What are you
things
guys
that I'm
gonna
not
say
willing
when
to
there's
drink.
snow on the ground? You can drink that and shovel snow.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a lot of movement. You can get your beer all foamy. I don't know.
Luckily, we're gonna have a 12-year-old. So
You can drink that and watch
that
someone
helps.
shovel snow.
yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
There you
Exactly.
I'll come over and drink it and watch him shovel snow.
Right. That'll be. We've got a.
Could you get him in my
Fun
house
Jeep.
first to dig me out?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll get you over
We'll
there.
send him in the Jeep.
Get a Jeep. That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's a Jeep thing up here.
It's gonna be a
Yes,
butt kicker
yes.
day though. Drink
Oh, yeah.
15%. Oh, you can drink this while you watch somebody else work.
Butt
You can
kicker
drink this and
day.
take a nap while
That is 6 a.m. Why are we doing this at 6 a.m.? We got to get out of here somehow.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's true.
It's true.
We're gonna create a national holiday. It's gonna be butt kicker day.
Oh my goodness,
Oh, boy.
people will be passing out by 2 p.m.
I know. That's
That'd be the fun though. You take like a siesta, then you wake
That's
up
right.
and keep
Yeah.
butt kicking.
right.
So friends in Atlanta call that a disco nap.
Disco,
Disco.
nap, huh?
I don't get the
Okay.
reference or what it really means, but that's what they call it. We
Whatever.
got to
Anyone
get in a
knows
disco nap.
The
Right.
big
Right
behind
on.
the disco nap.
All you had to
themselves.
say was nap.
Exactly.
The other one I went to Varian. I actually went to this brewery. They were really busy, so I didn't get to see much inside, but they had a lot of variants of this specific beer. So while I was down there, I got to try a passion fruit and something else variant of it. It was almost sour, very good. But this one's more of a traditional New England.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that looks.
Yeah, that's now when I think New England and hazy, that's closer to that color I expect.
It's a crowler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. They're gonna be messy, right?
These are.
So I like sitting right across from the window because it gives me a chance to get that light through it. Yeah, now that's
Are we
cloudy.
good? Okay, sorry. I just want to get the bottom
You're good, man.
I really like it.
We hired the son as our lighting guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing a hell of a job.
I know, every time.
Free.
You know what? I tell you
Available most days.
what, and he's on time. That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Very dependable.
Although every now and again likes to sleep in.
Yeah, around here it can get a little gray. So it does not have
Wow, that's
the
yeah.
smell.
Not at all.
Not what you would
Oh.
think.
Because when you think juicy, I mean, you expect that scent, that citrus, that
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, this is
this
more.
is dead on the nose.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a real heavy, almost like. It's one of those. Maybe it's as it warms, it opens because it's kind of just.
The
It's
flavor, yeah,
sips as disappointing as the smell.
it is.
Did you have it down there, or this is your first time too?
I've had it down there, and I honestly think that maybe it did not can so well because
Sure.
I think it would taste a little different off the draft.
It-
But I
yeah.
do remember liking the variant a little better than this. But this might not have held up so well because it is tasting a little funny on the
Flat.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little flat, and it's kind of got a little,
It's kind of like
it almost
like the beer's dying.
yeah, because it's almost got a more musky scent than
better
it did
drink it
before.
fast.
Yeah, right.
So I guess this Crowler didn't hold up so well.
Well,
So
and that's kind of the nature of the beast.
yeah,
There's
That happens. But
they were pretty busy when I got it, so
It's,
maybe it wasn't proper. But
it's not terrible.
no.
I mean, it's not it.
I would finish this pint.
I
You know.
right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say here pour this out.
this is relatively disappointing though compared to what it was at the brewery. I will
Sure.
say that though.
And I guess, you know, if you're going to call something in, like, it's better at the brewery, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to call something in New England, I expect that juicy,
Exactly.
just that great citrusy finish,
Where's the
that
crossover
smell.
from?
You know, it's good. It smells coming out of the glass at you.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we'll give them a second chance, right?
Yeah,
I guess we're
absolutely.
road trip guys, right?
Sure.
Right.
There you
Hey,
go.
Brews
when
and
are we
buds on the
welcome?
road.
Just let us know when we're welcome. We'll stop by and drink beer with y'all.
I think Brews and Buds goes on the bus.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
we
you
need
go.
a bus. All right. Well, if you see a big yellow and black, or gold and black, that's his favorite.
We could go with the VW.
Right, yeah. You know I'll buy it if it's golden black.
Well,
So.
we could go with the old VW bus,
Yeah.
right?
That's
We
true,
could hippie
yeah.
it out.
Microbus, love
Pop
it.
tops.
Get somebody to drive us.
Yes, please.
We need an Uber driver to get us to the greater Atlanta area.
Yes, but you have to have a VW bus.
That's the only way. Okay, I guess it's
You
left
just
then.
do.
Yeah.
Brews and Buds, Airbnb, bungalow.
Nice.
We need to get Airbnb involved then. Sounds like.
Right.
I'm hearing all these sponsorships.
I know.
Right?
We're dropping these names and still, I haven't got the
free.
invite
And
yet.
Yeah.
I'm still buying them the beer.
Yeah.
This time, that was, I mean,
Hey, that's all right.
no chagrin to Bells, but we're small time compared to what they do.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
they took the time to give us a very in-depth tour, more in-depth than what they would give the layperson, we would say. But Michael answered all of our questions. He was very, very knowledgeable. He got us into some of the great spots. Like, they don't have a grain room. They have a mill room where they sift and send everything, but their grain room is everywhere because they go through so much whole grain and malt that it's literally in every hallway. But
Wow.
their hop cooler, if you get the chance and you go to Bell's Hops Cooler and you hop in there, oh my goodness, there's 14 different types of hops, and if you can pick out a single smell, then you're better than me. Because I just wanted to. Okay, you guys can leave now.
I'm so confused.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I did enjoy watching your Bell's tour, and I thought you did a great job explaining and talking through everything.
Yeah.
And I really liked when you were at the hop farm.
ABC.
That had to be awesome.
It was so fun. They were. So I didn't realize that the owners of ABC actually have their hand in quite a bit. They own like a pizza shop. They own quite a few other things, but they do a Fisher's Fresh IPA every year. It's usually only kegged, not canned or bottled, which they just put in a canner, which I really want to go check out. So we got the invite from Kyle to go check them out. But that was amazing. To pick the brain of the brewers who are picking the hops as they're happening, and to actually smell them, which I have a few drying out front. We can smell it because we've trained our nose to certain hops, but when you walk down into a hops farm or at Bell's Hops Farm, you knew where you were. Like, oh, this is fresh Citra. This is fresh Cascade. Like,
Yeah.
and then you just destroy it and shove your face in it and treat it like we're gonna stop there. But it's amazing. It was very well. That woman at Bell's was also very happy
He's like, aloha, and she's like, oh, do you need me to take a picture of you guys? We're like,
we're like,
just
no,
started the
sorry,
video."
we're
Yes,
live. But that was
I
funny.
have the complexion of a Hawaiian.
So is
I'm so pasty.
But that was yeah, and everyone there, like everyone on the high lows, everyone walking by, everybody said hi.
That's awesome.
It was a really great culture, so I really recommend going and checking out Bell's. I'm excited to go see ABC. I really can't wait for this year's
Yeah.
Fishers.
Can we get your light over there?
Hit the light.
The bells and the variant are like taking all the sunlight from you in the camera, so.
Let's move things back a bit.
There you go. Yeah, I'm excited
Like a floating
for
head
that
right there.
Fishers to launch after listening about it. You know, my office is in Ypsi, so I'm not far from just going right over there and enjoying it
Yeah.
out of a keg as opposed to waiting for it to make its way down here.
That will be exciting, and they just have so much fun. They're a great culture too. By no means is anyone the size of Bell's, but I mean
Right.
they definitely they're good people, and that's what we're trying to do is just kind of get that craft culture out. Is that someone said it really well when we were at Two Bandits. I think it was Joni, their operations manager. That craft culture is counterculture. It's not
Counter
selfish.
business culture.
There you go. It's not selfish at all. Everyone wants to share. Everyone wants to help someone else out in their own regard. You know what I mean? So it's really exciting. And so let's.
Yeah, you need to drink up so we can try another beer. Huh?
Okay, let's.
It
do
was fun going from Two Bandits to Bell's, though. I have to say that was.
I imagine the
from
dichotomy
one
there,
barrel
you know,
to what were they? They produced their expectation by the end of 2018 is half a million barrels.
Wow.
Yeah.
500,000 barrels.
From like an operation inside of a, what was it?
48 square foot
48 square foot
to
room
a 60
to-
acre.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we went from one extreme to the next.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a slight difference.
Just a bit.
Yeah,
Just
barely noticeable.
Yeah, I couldn't turn around at Bell's. There was just so much. No, that place was awesome.
Yeah.
I would really love to go
Yeah,
back.
that's one of my favorite places. Just go hang out, drink a beer, and even more so at the cafe. The food is so good.
Oh,
my
Yeah, the
goodness.
food is so good at
That's
the
good.
cafe. It's just a great spot altogether.
It is.
Yeah.
Great service. Yeah,
Service
great
was
service.
awesome.
Yeah, Kalamazoo's a great town.
There's
I
tons of-
highly recommend it.
Oh yeah. And there's tons of breweries you can walk around from one, start at Bell's and keep going
Oh,
around,
yeah.
honestly. So
Yeah, the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange is always a fun place to go.
Yeah, that's the bottle shop, right? Is that the one?
No, that's the bar where the prices fluctuate based
Is that
on
another
demand.
gold and black can?
While
this one I didn't know the can before I bought it.
Okay.
Fair enough. You're still guilty.
I'm starting to
Yeah.
feel like you have an agenda here.
He really likes our colors.
Subliminal messaging.
You're gonna start bringing around a rubber stamp of the draft specialist and just putting on everything.
Yeah. This one I hope really held up. This was one of my favorite beers. This was from a Brews Brewing down in Nashville, I believe. Or no, Knoxville. It's a brewed IPA. It was actually, I preferred it a little more to the one that we had before, but everybody's tastes are different.
Yeah.
Really do truly hope it hold up.
Well, I think the way that cracked open like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see
You
the
heard
head
it.
on
You
it.
can
It's a
see the
lively
head a
head.
little bit.
Alright, I'll try that craziness.
Did you get cleaned out there? Need washed out?
I
I guess
don't
so.
remember.
I don't
Me
remember.
neither.
I skipped the variant after you guys talked about it.
Yeah, maybe not.
This was actually just a brewery I stopped by at lunch for lunch though, and this beer blew me away so much I had to bring one back. Oops.
Here,
Well,
have,
thank you.
Yeah.
have a
Sorry.
lot of it.
Wow,
It'll pour
you're
it.
gonna enjoy this.
Really love it.
Yeah.
You know what? I can tell you it smells like a Pinot Grigio all
It's-
the way.
It's intensely dry.
Crisp green apple. Little yeasty.
Yeah.
Like it's
Was it fun? We all inhaled at the same time.
Yeah.
this is a little, wow. This is different from everything else we've tried tonight.
Yeah,
Today,
definitely.
tonight.
It's
The
a
sun
nightish
here yet?
time.
That's
Wow, that's
I'm
This one held up pretty well actually.
it. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't taste dead.
No, I think it was actually maybe I was picking up a little more fruit flavor at the
Yeah.
brewery, but this one honestly is very close to what
It's
it tastes
because
like.
it's
at
a
the brewery.
golden black can.
I know. The golden black
It's,
cans are the best. I should just go and just buy everything's
All of
golden
them,
black.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, by looking at it, by smelling it, I'm almost expecting a cider.
Yeah.
And when you actually drink it and the hops come in, and yeah, this is. I'm not sure how to talk about this beer yet, to be perfectly
Right.
honest with you.
It's almost like
there's
you've,
a lot going on
crossed
here.
over into like, oh, they brewed a wine.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like they carved and brewed a wine. Like this is it's very tasty. The hops are not as pronounced, but they're still there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't put my finger on it though.
I mean, you don't, and I'm dealing with some allergies, so I'm a little stuffed up, but you don't smell them.
Yeah.
They're not
Right.
overwhelming. And that's why I'm saying that, you're looking at it, I get more fruit on the nose
Absolutely.
than anything, so I'm like, yeah, this looks like a cider.
This is-
I
this was
all
very-
that said, I
Yeah,
really
I like
like
this
it.
a lot.
I
Yeah.
really like it. I just don't know.
I'm very
I don't
impressed.
know how to describe it. It's
It's a very unique color as well. It's
Yeah.
a bright yellow.
Yeah.
I mean, most
Yeah, that's-
IPAs are going to be more of like the you're getting past the straw into more of an amber hue, and this one's just
I
bright.
would
It's exciting.
I dare to say that I think anybody could drink this beer.
I believe
I think
so.
if you didn't call this an IPA, if you didn't tell somebody this was an IPA, I don't know that they'd pick it out.
Yeah. It's not very bitter. I mean, it's
Right.
still hoppy enough for an IPA drinker to drink, like
Absolutely.
I said before, but
I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not a punchy in the face
Right.
bitterness to it. I think we're gonna get one of those soon.
yeah, I have a couple of pieces.
and I'm excited for that.
Yes,
but
me too. The real scary part
this is interesting.
this is 10%.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yes, this was a hard
I
one to
wouldn't
pull
know
away
that.
from. This brewery is actually right off 75 as you're going south.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I actually stopped at it. Just
Huh.
grab some lunch, and their beer was so good. Every beer that I actually had there was
By,
it was exactly what you'd think it would be, and a little bit more.
did you spend any time in Knoxville?
No, not
Other
at all. I
than
was just going
stopping?
through. I was just
It
going
is
through.
such a fun town. One of my best friends got married there,
Yeah.
and his soon-to-be father-in-law was an athlete at UT, and his sister-in-law was an athlete at UT. So I was in the wedding, and his what do they call that? Wedding rehearsal, right? Was at the carriage house where the crew team is, right on the
Oh,
river,
nice.
which is right across from Neyland Stadium.
Oh wow!
It was just one of the
beautiful
most dynamite places to be in all of Knoxville. You got all the river in front of you. You look across the street. You feel like you're compelled to sing Rocky Top.
view.
It was just really cool. It was such a fun town. And we spent like 4 or 5 days down there. Just a great town.
Is that where the name came from?
What's that?
Band name? Was it a Tennessee reference?
What, my old band name?
Yeah.
Actually, a Kentucky reference.
Kentucky. Oh, my
Kentucky
bad.
reference to
We're
a state
close.
park there.
Kentucky.
Shout
yes.
out to Knoxville.
Yes, shout out to Knoxville. Now that I know that Abridged is there, it seems like I've got a good reason to go back.
I would highly recommend. I had some food while I was there. The food was incredible. The
Awesome.
brewery's very tiny. I mean, you can see right where they're brewing. They only have a few tanks. It's right to the left of the bar. Doesn't take up much space. Couldn't have been
Huh.
more than a
This
by a
is-
20 by 10 area.
Really?
Yeah.
The name's familiar to me.
It is.
I
Yeah,
feel
we've
like
come across them before.
Yeah, I've seen them somewhere.
They are a popular name.
Yeah.
I don't know their distribution though.
It
Yeah.
can't be very large. The staff there was, I mean, beer geeks though, all out. They ordered beer from all over. They actually knew about Brother Benjamin for
Nice.
Nice.
everything.
That
so
is such a good beer.
the staff was incredible. The food and beer, everything was incredible. It's hard to walk away from that brewery.
Yeah.
I only want to stop in for one beer. I ended up having 2 or 3.
Sounds like a special
Then I
trip.
had to eat.
Right.
Well, it's on the bus again.
There we go.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
half thinking if I can call Andy's father-in-law and see if he'd be willing to ship up some of their other beers. And
Everyone I got
enjoying
to
it.
try was amazing.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
this is. I still can't believe this 10%. This 10%. This doesn't taste 10%.
That's what it
at
says.
all.
It does not.
Too good.
It's. I mean, because you were explaining it as very cider-like.
Yeah.
Those ciders, when they get higher ABV, they get sweeter.
Mhm.
And this is not. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely a very easy like juice, like apple juice, kind of like pear juice,
Yeah.
easy drinking to it. But its drinkability is incredible. 10%. Like that's well hidden.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
incredibly.
There
good.
must be a certain hops that taste like grapefruit to me, because like all I get is grapefruit, and I
A
know it's
lot
not
of
hops.
American.
Yeah.
Like almost all West Coast and almost all North American hops have a grapefruit note to them, and their alphas are very grapefruit and piney.
That's why I keep them around.
I'm glad you finally
Why do I
explained
taste
it.
this?
We've been sitting
What
here
are you
wondering.
doing? How does she
For
tolerate it?
clarification purposes, this is why.
Well,
Yeah.
at least now you know, Eric.
That's okay. I'm still here.
Yeah, not to ruin the rest, I actually haven't tasted any of the other ones, but this was probably my favorite brewery that I went to while I was there. By
That's
far.
awesome. That's a very tasty.
Snacks, cheese, crackers, guys.
luxurious.
Yeah, we got those.
Anybody wanna
10%
reach out?
Are we getting there? Oh, it's this one, huh? Or the next one?
No,
This
I'm going
one's
to start you out light. This is
70.
70 IBU, and I'm going to build you up to 101, and then I believe it's
Oh.
143.
Oh.
It's where we'll be ending.
I'll hang back,
But-
thanks.
Oh, this is going to be a good punch in the nose.
I haven't. Well, this is only 70 IBU. The guy at
70.
Casual Pint described this to me
Only
as
70.
his
Oh,
go-to
only 70.
IPA. So
70 still cracks a pretty good punch.
Definitely.
And with the right hops, I've had beers at 70. I've had beers at 40 that taste more bitter than ones I've had at 80, 90, depending on the hop. So I'm assuming that anybody watching probably is familiar with what IBU means.
It will be explained in one of my fun
Right on.
vocab videos, but yeah, the one thing that I really want to hit with IBUs is that it's perceived bitterness. There is a math equation to derive that, but every yield's different, every year is different, every palate's different. I mean, it's like trying to replicate a snowflake.
Right.
You're not going to get the same results every year, but you can do the math to get very close. But the real thing that I like to hit home is it's perceived. So the human palate, unless well trained, can perceive about 75 IBUs comfortably. Eric can probably taste more than what others can. Keith, I'm sure you're probably getting close. But there's, obviously the more you train your palate, the more you drink of something, the more you eat of something, the more familiar. Think of it as like capsaicin, that kind of heat. The first
Yeah.
time you have, say, a Thai chili, it'll floor you. You have that, subtly here in, like in the sauce or in this or in that. It'll finally start, the flavor will come out and the heat won't kick your butt so much. So that's where I like to kind of correlate it.
Sure.
I mean, 70 IBUs
Coffee.
is still,
Coffee, you'll taste the different flavors.
yes,
Absolutely.
eventually roast.
I can talk about coffee for a long time.
Oh, we just became best friends.
That'll be the next series. Soon, Eric,
Coffee
we'll
with
yeah.
Ooh, this will be fun. See him do the shutter instead.
I tried.
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's funky. It's almost
Oh,
Kinda fruity.
it's fruity, but there's a dankness.
I
behind
want
Oh,
to
it
say it's
that's-
almost cheesy.
Well, the thing that's actually
You gonna
really-
waste the juice, buddy?
It's the Leaning Tower of cheese. Ow.
I think you nailed dank on the head after I tasted it.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
on the flavor, the dank really comes through.
Yeah, I haven't tasted yet, but you can, like Eric said, you get
It's just funky.
Yeah.
you get that. Oh God, I can't wait to try it. I'm just gonna shut up and drink.
For an IPA that somebody described me as a go-to, readily available, this is very good.
It is very good. 70 IBUs is impressive because you don't taste that.
No, there's so much flavor in here.
Yeah.
It's packed in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as refreshing as sipping water. I mean, you want to.
Well, I mean, again, I would say we're probably seasoned IPA drinkers.
Right.
I think if I handed this to somebody that was,
Not.
early on, or somebody that doesn't enjoy, they're gonna go, oof.
Yeah.
Because again, there is that dankness.
Flaky.
I recognize a difference
shudder.
between dank and bitter, though. You
Yeah.
know, there is a difference. It doesn't make me go, yeah.
Absolutely. That
this is,
IPA shudder, the hop shudder, I like to call it.
I'm actually a big
This
fan of
is
this.
this is very
I
good.
like this. This is, no offense to the Michigan made beer, but this puts Ridiculous on its butt. In
Oh,
terms
easily.
of because that's one I think of when I smell a dank beer. That's where my mind goes, is to Ridiculous, and not that it's a bad beer,
It's hard.
but this
I can't
puts
even-
it on its butt. Different flavor profile too.
It's
but-
kind of funny that you brought up dank though, because actually, while me and my wife were down there, we thought that almost every beer that we tasted, even though it wasn't supposed to have that, it almost had a slightly skunky, dank smell
Yeah.
to it. And then we drank their water out of the tap, and their water down there, and I could be totally off on this, their water almost has a skunky, dank kind of smell to it in itself. It tastes a
So
little.
there's a lot of sulfur.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's just a different mineral content,
Wow.
giving all their beer a little
Well,
taste.
and that's,
But
I mean,
That was the first thing I pointed out was the water. Like you get a very water-like finish to this. So I
Yeah.
wonder if it's the
Yeah.
condition. I wonder if they
could be.
well,
They
obviously
may
they
not
salt
be.
it.
They might not be filtering.
They might
their
not
water.
be conditioning.
Oh.
Because I would go with
Oh, yeah, because you're not. Well, you can filter out the sulfite,
lots of
but
it.
you would have to filter it first and then condition it to pull it all out.
Right, so you do a carbon filter or an RO filter, and
Yeah,
then you'd
you'd
condition
have
with
to
salts.
for this. You'd
And
have
I don't
to
think
RO.
they don't use water softeners down there.
I
could
have
be
no
wrong.
idea.
I
I
could
have
be
no
wrong.
idea, honestly.
Yeah.
What
So-
city was it?
This is from Knoxville, I believe. Still.
Knoxville. Well,
Yes,
so
Tennessee
you know
ales.
what? You're getting some mountain runoff.
Yeah, it's
So
just
you're,
Tennessee
yeah,
ales.
you're gonna get. I bet you it has a lot to do with it because you're getting a lot of mountain runoff in
Yeah.
the water
I
there.
would say water quality, but
Yeah.
I mean it gives it such a unique
Right.
characteristic. So I enjoy
Yeah, it's certainly
I
not.
liked
It's
it.
certainly not
yeah.
bad at all.
Right.
You
No,
know,
I
but-
really did enjoy the subtle flavor of all their beers, but I did feel like they did all have a subtle skunky.
And that might simply be from
Yeah.
Yeah.
heavy sulfur. It's like driving through Sylvania in our area.
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
Dundee. You ever
Dundee.
catch
Oh,
that?
Dundee, yeah.
After, oh,
That smells
Dundee
like
after
farts.
it rains, it's
Yeah.
awful.
On the north side, it just smells like
Yeah.
farts every
Yeah,
day.
one,
Well, there's one reason
Right.
for that, but
right past. Why?
Why? That's where the water treatment facility is, but nevertheless, it's funny.
The old cement plants there too.
Yeah, that
You
and they
catch
love
a
it.
little bit of that.
Ugh.
Oh, it's rough.
23 is not a good drive in that area. Honestly.
certain days, as long as the wind shifts.
Yeah.
Make that drive a lot. So
Well, you
you.
were-
Oh, yes, I do
Yeah.
every day.
You're
Yeah.
really
drove down
selling it. You're
and you took
Michigan.
75 across the. As soon as you hit the Georgia border, you hit the paper mill, and that is a
Oh.
smell I will never forget. I know when you're halfway to Florida.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
we're almost there.
Just
Nah.
outside Chattanooga, right?
Yeah, as soon as
Yep.
you cross the border.
Yep. You know what? That bitterness is starting to kick through a little
It's-
bit now that I've set it down.
It's sticking.
Yeah.
It sticks with you.
That's
That
interesting.
It is a residual bitterness.
Hey,
I can
you're,
still taste the hops. Just
Your
sitting
light
in my
guy's
mouth.
letting you down outside.
That's the
I know,
sun
it's like
for
a,
it.
it's
That's
like
what
a
he
strobe
wants.
light right now.
He kind of does what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Once we get big enough, maybe we'll have some endorsements from some
There you
professional
go.
lighters and
Well, the end of his shift, he starts to kind of fizzle out.
Boom Mike.
It's a little burnt.
Right?
Yeah, right. God, I've been working all day. What's wrong with you people?
Right. Starts to send in the associate.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It's still sticking on the tongue.
Yeah, it's lingering. I like it.
I like that beer
I
a
like.
lot.
Yeah.
No,
So
definitely
black
my
ones.
go-to.
I got to say, so far, I've liked them all.
Besides
With
the
the exception
berry.
of the one that kind of,
I truly believe that just did not hold
yeah.
up well.
I trust your palate enough that it just didn't hold up.
Yeah.
And that happens. You know, you're trying to travel a beer a couple hundred miles. and
Yeah,
A lot of variance with heat and light and other things.
Yeah.
Well, light in a can's not going to get you, but
Bouncing around in my back
Right.
seat, you know.
yeah, absolutely.
How well was it filled? You know, if it was
Mhm.
a low fill, I
Right.
could definitely. Hopefully, it didn't oxidize. We don't test for that here.
Ray, will you move those three behind the other ones? These light colored
These three?
ones. It's like picking up all the sun. You look like a floating head back there.
Nice.
No,
Yeah.
behind, so it's
Sounds
not
good.
taking on the light. There you go. Keep going. Yep.
Very nice.
Nice, like.
Good at success.
Much.
So I didn't get to try this one either. This is a single IPA, but it's 101 IBU, and then we have their double, which is 143 IBU.
Wow.
It came highly recommended from the guy at the Casual Pint down there.
It's kind of funny that the 100 isn't the double.
Exactly. That's kind of what I found surprising about it.
So, Eric, your take on this? I've read and I've heard from a couple of cicerones that 100 is the maximum on the IBU scale.
You say that.
So, what's with the take on finding something like I was talking earlier before we went on camera? Like we're a big deal here, right?
Right.
I had Stinkfist at Petoskey a couple years ago, and they said that's 133 IBU. So is there a maximum, or is that kind of a misnomer?
That is a misnomer because the math tells you that you can get over 100 IBUs.
Okay.
In the Cicerone training, they tell you, this is all being, of course, you're being told. The human palate has its spectrum. There is a low and there is a high. We can kind of stretch and mold that spectrum. Wow, that got dark.
Yeah, it really did.
You can mold that spectrum, but yes, you will find a max. So at 100 IBUs, I'm not going to taste all of it. It's
Right.
going to be too much for me. You will taste more than I will, taste different things than I will, and then you hit 130, 140 IBUs. Again, a lot of that is lost. It is the novelty of it usually, but also with that, you're gonna drive a crowd that's there for a reason. So these are people that these are our kind of people that
Right.
are there for a reason.
That's what I was there for.
We're gonna bring our spouse, and Renata, she loves IPAs.
Yeah, she does.
My wife is a porter and stout fan. Bree is
Not a beer drinker.
found one drink for her over the years, right? It was one drink.
I can't remember which one it was. I mean, she'll drink a beer if she
Wasn't
finds
it
one that she
Unity?
likes, but
The
might have
kombucha.
been. Yeah. I
It's
mean, but
Unity
she likes something
Vibrations.
that's a little bit more fruity, so she likes ribeye. She likes
Well, it's also not
some-
beer; it's rice.
right, but she likes to sit at home with her vodka and mix it with whatever she finds.
And you know what?
More
Right.
power to you.
Different
We're all
strokes
trying to
for
get to the
different
same place. We're
That's
just
right.
Yeah.
taking a different drink to get there.
Exactly.
Whatever people like.
It's
yeah.
absolutely.
You know what?
Just means more beer in the fridge for me.
Precisely.
There you go. Yeah, nobody
You
touches
only
their
need
beer.
one bottle. I need the whole fridge.
Right, I gotta buy doubles of everything that I want to drink.
I'm
so-
sorry. Sorry.
And your bottle will fit in the freezer.
All right, so 101 IBU,
Oh, man.
and this is a single.
Nashville.
This is the single. I actually brought their double also, which I could be wrong, but I believe it's 143 IBU. This one came highly
Smell, that's
recommended.
really malty up front, right?
It is.
It really is for that high of IBU. And how clear it is. Yellow.
Yeah, it's.
How yellow it is.
I'm
It is.
surprised by that.
Really, really light citrus, light grapefruit. I want to say like ruby red grapefruits. You know how like they're a little bit more vibrant,
Yeah.
not quite as in your face. I'm impressed with that. What are we at? 6.9%. So it's
It's an easy drinker.
Huh.
It's an easy drinker.
That bitterness.
I feel like I'm trying to prompt the bitterness to come on.
It's
It's-
slow.
yeah.
It's a creeper.
I hate to say it, but even though the IBU is more on this one than the other one, I feel like the other one almost had a little more flavor and kick to it
And it might be.
at 70 IBU. And
I
that
guess it could be the difference in the hop, maybe the difference in the
Could be.
water, like we discussed.
well, these are both Nashville,
Oh, okay.
so
Maybe they filter.
yeah, maybe,
Maybe
that,
the
that
other
could
one
be-
doesn't.
that could be.
I don't know. Not reading the hop content, I don't know. But it's
The
not bang.
dryness is
Yeah.
further. It's not. This is a complex beer because it's very. I know what my brain is telling me I should be tasting,
Yeah.
and I know what I'm tasting, and this is a very. It's a
This
very
is-
refreshing IPA. 6.9%. This is the one I want with my. This is the one I want with my meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the more I drink it, though, the more bitterness I can pick up on, the more I drink it. to
Yeah,
be honest with
right.
you. It's a slow build up.
I would actually think that I would probably need not the whole can poured out, but if I had this in a smaller glass where it's poured out a little bit differently
Yeah.
than this guy, maybe I'd pick up a little bit more in the way it's poured and everything.
Sure.
But I mean, that said, you're right. This is complex. I'm not really sure
I can't. pinpoint
everything
it.
I can say. I can't pinpoint it at all. I haven't noticed 101 IBU bitterness,
No.
and I've drank enough IPAs and to be able to do that. And this does not pack that punch.
I completely
yeah.
agree with you.
And this is one of those like creepers or sleepers. It's like it's been a moment since I've had a sip. my tongue is drying out.
Mm-hmm.
My palate, my
Yeah,
hard and soft palate is drying out.
It's hanging here.
It's there.
It's back there.
It's drying out the whole way down, but it's not a noticeable flavor. It's more of a noticeable feeling.
Yeah. I can feel that.
This is interesting.
Because you can feel it in your throat. It is different kind
It's
of
very different. I like
profile
it
though. It's a different profile.
Did you have it before? Or
No, I've never had it. The only beers I've had were the previous ones we drank. I've never had any of the future ones we
But
had.
to go with this one, I mean, I'd be inclined to say this is closer to a pale ale, like a hoppy pale ale, than it is to an IPA.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, if they did derive those hops, derive that IBU from all these hops, I mean, that means they did it. They definitely didn't put it in the dry, because the dry has no bearing on your IBU. That's all
Right.
nose. So they definitely put it in their mash, and to get that, I mean, it's way too complex. I mean,
Yeah.
we should have started with. Here we are. We put it to the end because we were worried about it, and honestly, we've had barrel aged and imperials to get this far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Now, what's interesting, I just took a bigger sip there on my last one, and there's a little bit more flavor that kicks through with that bigger sip.
yeah.
So, and maybe it's one of those beers where you just need a little more content in order to.
Yeah, it's
To
it
really
is-
understand.
It is funky too. It definitely has that. I mean, it's almost like an aged cheese. It's just got that like funk and malt. You hit the nail on the head there with that. Like for everything we drink, IPA wise, this is definitely like the maltiest one. But it's so. There's so much going on here. I can't pinpoint it.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I really want to. I would love to pick the brain of the brewer or the guy who conceived this, because this is amazing.
It is.
This is a really impressive.
Yeah.
beer.
The longer I sit after I've taken the drink, also I can feel the more bitterness. Honestly,
Yeah.
the longer I
Yeah,
sit here, you can feel it on your tongue.
It's there. I'm actually gonna
Yeah, try to cleanse
crack
the
it
palate
a little bit. I mean, it's.
Well, it's actually
Take
good.
another pass here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little piece of cheese here.
Good man. See that right there. Yes, we have learned and gotten smarter through the days that we should offer snacks, especially since our first one was 18 beers on National IPA Day, ranging from 6 to 12.5%. So
You missed that one.
That was a fun
Good.
day.
Alright.
That was a good day.
I just sat and watched. It was fun.
Oh, Matt, you're welcome back anytime, Matt. I'm sorry it wasn't your kind of day.
Poor Matt.
Ruined him.
You know Matt, so
Yeah.
he's a Miller High Life drinker. He showed up for IPA Day.
Oof.
Well, he held up though very
He
well.
did.
He really did. I mean,
It was
You
an
did.
interesting perspective from somebody who doesn't drink them normally.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm picturing that Grandpa Simpson gif where he walks in, puts his hat down, turns around, picks his hat up.
Oh, that kind of establishment. We don't run that kind of house here.
So I believe this is the double of the single that we just had, and I could be wrong because I did not go to the brewery or talk to any of the brewers.
Well, it
but-
says
Oh,
double.
look at that
It says
color.
double, and that one just says IPA. So
Right.
honestly, I have nothing else to go on.
Okay, well,
But already
it
the
says
color-
double. So,
Alright.
The color is definitely coming in a lot more
Yeah.
of the orange,
be curious if
hay looking
does
color.
it
So
smell
it's-
as
You don't want
malty.
143 IBU?
I mean, I don't know.
It does smell as malty as
it
the
is-
other one.
It is malty and it is a little funky too.
Yeah.
But it's a weird kind of funk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I mean no disrespect, but it's almost like an unwashed kind of funk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of like
Dirty dish.
this is like 3 day. This is 3 day old like funk. It's gnarly.
Yeah.
Give me $1 to drink that.
Yeah. This is almost like 8th grade gym class at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's like
It really does.
It's like,
have a
dude, you
boss.
can take that home? Nope, throwing it away.
yeah, right. And if I don't, not well.
Yeah, right. She can't pick it up and just.
The 12-year-olds definitely bring it home. They're like, hey, Mom, there you go. It's my backpack.
Right? Oh.
Where are you even keeping this?
Yeah, that definitely has the bitterness direct
Yeah.
to your tongue.
And I was just about to say, I got it on that last smell. You can get it.
I like that. That is extremely bitter, though. Honestly, like that's the first.
You feel that in your forehead.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it's extremely bitter.
That is a bitterness.
That said, I love it.
I really do like it. I love it.
I like this a lot. It's it does have that, but it's more of like an overripe grapefruit flavor.
Yeah.
Like a there's definitely a tree flavor behind it, but it's not pine.
No.
I'm trying to put my finger on it, but it's like I don't know, man. This is super funky. I like it lots.
I like how we've only used like negative words to describe it.
And you're
Overripe
like, I love
grapefruit,
Right.
nasty
But
gym
we love it.
But it's so
We
good.
love it.
It's so good.
We love it.
I'm trying to remember.
You guys are so excited.
What was that Jeff Foxworthy joke where it's guys always try and one up each other on the nastiest smell, like I got a gym bag I found a year and a half ago. Like this is.
Well, you're from Minnesota. Did you play hockey?
I didn't, but
Okay.
yes.
This could rival hockey equipment.
This is.
He
And I
has-
still want to
trust
drink
me,
it.
He has baseball catcher equipment and that stuff.
It's
too.
It's
a
up there.
damn close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out there. You got sprayed every year.
It's definitely just like right when it hits your tongue, though, it just starts watering.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
So
it's very, very bitter.
What's funny is I feel like you're describing this one.
I didn't mean to pour you that
4
much.
years
You
ago.
could have dumped that one
But it's
out.
like accurate to me. I'm like,
Right.
oh, this is bitter.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I didn't mean to pour you that much that one.
No,
Granted, I
it's
did
fine,
think
it's
you'd
fine.
like it, but I did not mean to pour you that much.
Yeah.
So.
It's
and immediately just.
well, as
Overpowers
it
your
lingers,
It really
gets,
does.
I'm going to go back to the word. It gets a little dank the more
Yeah.
it lingers and it's sitting back there. But it's like I
nose.
said, it's creeping. It's
Yeah.
creeping back there, and the longer it does, the more better, the more dank it is.
Yeah.
It's
And they're independently owned. That's awesome.
I gotta say, I haven't tried this beer when I was down there. I wish I would have grabbed more from them because these two beers are
9%.
very, very different.
I like this one a lot more than I like the last one.
I do
and
too.
I completely agree.
And I really like the last one.
I
Hey,
completely
that's
agree
Nashville.
with
We
you.
have friends in Nashville. We gotta do it anyway.
So I guess we're going to
Knoxville.
Nashville. This one's Nashville.
Oh, is it Nashville?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
fair enough.
top.
Proudly
I
brewed
believe
in
it.
Nashville.
Fair enough then.
Bruce and Bud's on the bus.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Heads to Nashville.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll put it all on the company credit card.
There you go.
Okay.
Tax deductible.
We need to find a graphic designer, get a little montage going.
I agree.
Little
It
bus-
needs to be
little-
like Magical
little
Mystery
busing
Tour-ish.
going, almost like Paw
Oh,
Patrol.
yeah. Paw Patrol. There you go.
I went Beatles, you went Kids Show. I don't know.
We'll mix it. We'll do it.
That's right. We're still going cartoons.
We're like Kids
Yes,
Show.
it just needs to be animated. That's all I'm saying.
Alright,
just-
buy your tickets now.
That's right.
It just has that little extra kind of funk, and the only flavor I can come to is like an aged cheese. But then as soon as you sip it, it is really, really, really fresh. I mean, it's like burying your face in fresh hops, and
Yeah.
it's there the whole time. The sip actually affects your nose, which I said it's actually I
Yeah.
feel it in my
I love
forehead.
it.
I really do.
I love the fact that as I drink this, I smell the
Yes.
malt, but as I taste it, I get the hops and the
and then
complex
that
flavors.
overpowers everything.
Yes, it's great.
It literally
It's-
just tastes like somebody put some buds and some hops and smashed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
I really enjoy it. Do we got any more? Or is this the last one?
I tried to actually get a 6-pack of this one after I saw the IBU, and this was the only can I could get. This was
Really?
a single can, yeah.
All right, Nashville, here we come.
There we go.
Right.
It's a good one, though.
This is very good.
Tennessee's
I'm very
getting some
impressed.
I would make
Yeah.
anybody that's driving down that way pick me up
Yeah.
as much as I could get us to this.
Absolutely. So let me ask you guys. I think this was the last one we were trying, right?
It
I
is,
believe so.
yes.
What's the first one you're going to grab when we go off camera now?
I always say that. I'm like, it's so telling.
Well, as much as I have to
Turn
save
off
this
the
actually for my
camera
wife, I
and-
would grab this one first.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I can only
Yeah,
get
you've
one
gotta
can,
take
and
that
she
one.
said
yeah,
she
she's
wants
gotta
to try it.
I
Other
wouldn't.
than
I
that,
wouldn't
though-
cross her.
I like the abridged. I really think that was a very balanced beer. It was dry, it was
Very impressed
hoppy.
with that.
Yeah.
fruity. It had everything that you look for in an IPA. Honestly.
Next time you can bring her, she can sit back here with me.
Yeah, I think I think I'd go for the Boulevard.
Oh, that was a
The
good one
quad.
too.
That was a great one.
Bell's actually, I really
100%.
liked the
Bell's
honey. Honestly, this was a really good lineup. This is hard to choose from.
I'm gonna grab
Besides,
the stout.
You can have it.
besides that variant, which might be a drain cleaner,
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, we didn't have a.
it
we
really
didn't have a
it didn't hold up well. It really didn't.
mean-
It did not taste like that at the brewery.
Can got a little excited, so it's all right. But
Yeah.
you heard the difference in the next
Oh,
round.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it could be a low fill, could have oxidized. I mean, anything could have happened.
Yeah.
It did travel. What you say? 9 hours? You said, or
Yeah, it's about 9-10 hours. The other thing that I did not like about that brewery is all of their crowlers were pre-filled. They had a fridge full of pre-filled canned
that
crowlers.
may have done.
Which
Yeah,
I
you don't
almost
know how old
wonder.
that is.
Yeah, well, they do write the date on it. It's the
Okay.
23rd of August, which is not
It's not bad.
great, but it's not good. Because honestly, if you're sitting in a crowler, I would have
Crowler,
wanted it a
you-
little fresher. But
You got about a week in a crowler. You
Right.
got, what?
It's kind of
2
weird. I
to
wonder just they're
3
so
days in a
busy.
growler?
it was a very busy brewery. I could barely find parking. I had to park a block away and walk in.
Oh.
So I mean, I don't know if they could have even filled a crowler at the point I was there because there was a line. But
Sure.
same time, their beer was much better in the brewery than it was in that crowler.
Right on.
Which
So-
that's
Which is
what we
disappointing.
really try and amplify is that the brewer wants you to have his beer kegged. Like that's what they want.
Yep.
They understand that obviously distribution, you got to get it to where it's going, and that's why you see more cans on the market now. That's why I'm really excited to say ABC is canning beer right now. Bell's canning line has just exploded because they're doing pint cans. They also have just started 12-ounce cans, but they're seeing the light as well. Where the brown bottle is going away. This used to mean something. This used to mean it was a good beer, and now like everything is coming in a brown bottle. This is becoming what your dad drank. You know what I mean? In
Right.
a brown bottle, and the can is becoming what you want to drink because it's the next closest thing from the draft.
Right.
Center focus.
The technology's gone so far. I mean, they even can wine nowadays
Yeah.
in
Right.
single cans, and it tastes fine. I mean, it tastes good. So
Precisely. Plus, it
You know.
allows you to get the chill point you want,
yeah,
where you don't have to worry about putting the bottle in that deep freeze cooler at the supermarket, and hopefully you get it home in time and
Right.
all that fun stuff. So I'm very impressed with a lot of these beers. I'm really excited to see what else comes from this. I mean, now we got to go to Tennessee. Sorry,
Yeah.
fellas, deal with it.
I'm good with it.
always
Right.
good with it. Yeah.
Well, from us, the draft
Cheers.
specialist, and my buds, cheers.